This video is going to include how you're supposed to write an article, a review, and an essay. But first, you need to know when and how you write formal and informal English. You need to know formal English because you want to be able to read a book, give a business presentation, or write maybe an official letter. You also need informal English because you want to be able to understand and communicate with English speakers in everyday situations. Formal English is used in serious texts and situations, for example in official documents, books, or news reports. Informal English is used in everyday conversation and in personal letters. Here is an example of formal English. As the price of $5 was reasonable, I decided to make the purchase without further thought. The same thought would be expressed quite differently in informal English, and here's an example. It was like $5, so I was like, okay. Furthermore, how you write an article. To write a great article demands that you observe the correct structure of the article. To accomplish this, it is essential that you conduct research, choose your paragraph subheadings wisely, write at least 2 body paragraphs, and tie things in a nice, neat bow with a conclusion that summarizes the whole article. First off, think about searching different facts to the article. Conduct research before you write a single word. Once you know specifically what you're going to write about, develop a loose outline. Whether or not this is in your head or not doesn't make any difference. Continuing with deciding on the headline, deciding on a thesis statement, and also think about the structure of the article. It should include an introduction, a body part, and a conclusion part. The headline should catch the reader's eye. It should be interesting so that the reader will continue reading the article. A headline should consist of a few words that describe the article, what the article is about. For example, animal testing, cruel or necessary. Thesis statement is where you present what the article is going to be about. Continuing with the structure of the whole article, you start off with the introduction. Here's where you introduce the problem that the article will discuss. Write a short summary on the subject and write your own thoughts about the problem. Never introduce something in the introduction that you do not indeed to address in the body paragraph. Before you actually write your body paragraphs, develop paragraph subheadings to give your reader a clue what they're going to read. Paragraph subheadings should stay relatively short. Continuing with the body paragraph. Once you develop paragraph subheadings, you're ready to write the body paragraph. Here's where the meat of the whole article is. Here we provide detailed information that flushes out the purpose of the article. Essentially, this is where you tell the reader what you said you're going to tell them in the introduction, but this time it's more detailed. For a good article, you should have at least 2 body paragraphs with a minimum of 2 sentences each. Continuing with the conclusion, here is where you give a brief summary of the article. It is important to leave the reader with something to think about. If you have done that, the article will be successful. Continuing with how to write a review. There are different kinds of reviews. You can, for example, write a review about a book, a movie, or a restaurant. When you write a review, think about 1. Have a clear and interesting introduction. 2. A clear description of what you're supposed to give a review about. And 3. Have a clear conclusion. It is important to think about the structure and the foundation of your work. You need a proper organization or your work will not be considered as a review. To the structure of the review, you will start with the introduction. The introduction is there to catch the reader's eye, and is the first impression of the introduction is very important. The introduction should include a short and interesting summary on what you will cover in the story. Moving on to the body part. In this part you will cover all the information you wish to write about. You're supposed to describe and present the arguments on the subject, include both criticism and praise the subject you're discussing, but say something for the conclusion part as well. In the conclusion part, you're supposed to write both your own opinion and recommendation on the subject you're discussing. Do not leave the reader with any loose ends, and do not present any new information in this part. A review are used to analyze, as I said, for example, a book, a restaurant, or movie. So if you like to express your own opinion about something, this is a text type you're supposed to use. Think about describing your surroundings, use personal pronouns, and in this specific text you can use words such as I and my opinion, for example. If you, for example, are writing a review on a book, include the author and the author's name and the title's name. Make the reader interested in continue reading a review. When you write a review, think of what your target audience is. Let's make it easier to adjust the language. Keep the review formal, use linking words, and have a varied vocabulary, and I guarantee that the review will be perfect. Continue on how to write an essay. It can be hard to learn how to write an essay, but with a lot of training you will soon catch it up and learn how to write a really good essay. If you know the steps on how to write an essay, it will make it much easier. Start off with the research. Begin the essay by writing process on what researching you will have on the topic. Use, for example, internet sources, the databases, or the library. 2. This is the analysis part. Now that you have a good knowledge base, start analysis the argument of the essay you're reading about. Clearly define the claims, write out the reason and the evidence. Look for weaknesses in the arguments and the logic, but also the strengths in the arguments. Continue on with the thesis. Here we pack up the best ideas and pin them down so you can write your entire essay around them. Your thesis is your main point, summed up in a concise sentence that lets the reader know where you're going and why in the essay. Continuing with the introduction. The introduction should grab the reader's attention, set up the issues that led to your thesis. Your introduction is merely a build-up of the main issue. Continue with the paragraphs. Each individual paragraph should be focused on a single idea that supports a thesis. Begin paragraphs with topic sentences, support everything with evidence. Speak to your reader as if he or she was sitting right next to you or in front of you. Continuing with the conclusion. Gracefully exit your essay by making a quick wrap-up sentence and then end with some sentences that will make an interesting twist of logic or something. Is there something you want the reader to walk away with or do after they have read your essay? Let him or her know exactly what. And finish it off with the language. You're not done writing your essay until you polish your language by correcting the grammar and making the sentences flow. This is all the tips and tricks I will have to write a review, an essay, and an article. Thank you.